Let's dive in. Today, I've called this conversation Liberate Yourself from Body Shaming, and I consider it to be a spiritual starting point. This conversation is specifically designed for the woman who is sick to death of hearing the same advice when it comes to how we can begin to relate to ourselves with love and respect and compassion and understanding. What we can do to stop being caught in a cycle of criticism and judgment, how we can release the inner critic and create an inner coach. We know that we need to do these things, but we keep receiving the same advice, the same information in a way that doesn't really inspire us to take aligned action. So, what I am gently offering today is a fresh take, the start of a new conversation, a wider perspective. I'm hoping that because this is a unique conversation when it comes to weight loss in particular and the way that we relate to our bodies, it might just be the balm that you have needed to soothe the parts of you that have become a little jaded when it comes to conversations around weight loss. I know it can feel like we just keep hearing the same things on repeat. And if we haven't been inspired to take action, hearing the same things again and again and again can be a little disheartening. So I'm hoping today this allows you to feel like a spark has been lit within you. That's all I'm hoping. To start a new conversation, to give you some new language, a new way of talking about the relationship that you have with yourself and the ways that you might just be able to liberate yourself from body shaming. It's worth a try anyway, and you are so worth it. So give me a chance and let's see how we go today. I have been the proud owner of gyms and personal training studios for almost 15 years now. And I have become the gym owner that doesn't want to talk to you about your weight loss goals, which sounds crazy, I know. And it does present quite a challenge, but there is method behind my madness. There is reasoning behind my resistance. And I want to share that with you today so you can understand why I'm so passionate about sharing in the way that I do. So, for at least a decade, my main role within businesses has been to conduct initial consultations. So, I've been the first point of contact when people have found the courage within them to reach out and ask a gym or a personal training studio or a program for help and support when it comes to the way that they are trying to lose weight, trying to get fit, relating to their body. And so it's been my job to say, sit down and tell me about yourself so that I might be able to best understand how I can best support you, how we can serve you. And those are the really challenging conversations for most people. Because in that moment, people have to decide whether to speak up and speak their truth and allow me to see the ways in which they need support. And often that means talking about parts of themselves or aspects of themselves that they have shamed, denied, repressed, hidden, ignored for a really long time. And so I got really good at reading between the lines, at noticing the subtleties in vocabulary, in seeing the pain in people's eyes. And sooner or later, I realized that just talking about the weight loss goal was not the power of these conversations. The weight loss goal was one thing, but it wasn't everything. But we have been sold this idea, this belief that it is just in losing weight that, we are going to be able to find our ultimate happiness, fulfillment, success, and it just doesn't happen, right? Individually, we are all so incredibly unique. We have our own specific archetypes, circumstances, passions, desires. And these are the things that guide our work in the world, who we are, the choices that we make. And what I began to understand was that collectively, we are all here to raise consciousness. Most people, when they would sit in front of me, would talk about the way that they wanted to just be able to lose weight, to feel better within their bodies, to feel more confident within their skin, so that they could feel confident enough to go out and create and cause what they believed they were capable of creating and causing in the world. Or that they wanted to lose that weight to feel better about themselves, so that they felt that they had the permission to begin to explore that. It was a deeper conversation. I wasn't just saying to people, why do you want to lose 5 kilos? What size jeans do you want to fit into? What event do you have coming up that you want to look great for? Those type of conversations were far too superficial. I was asking questions like, what does success really look like for you? And what inspires you about that? And tell me what you are passionate about. I wanted to hear everybody's backstory. It was really important for me to understand the lived experiences that each person had been through so that I could understand what had brought them to the point that they were at today. Creating goals to create a new reality for ourselves is really powerful. And it's something that we are all capable of doing. But we must first learn how to tend to the parts of us that have created the perceived problems that we have in the moment that we are in, that have led us to be the person that feels like they need to lose weight, change their habits, change their ways. You know, we don't get to just escape what we have been through, what we have experienced, and create a new reality. There is a big component of this work that requires us to look our choices, our attitudes, our feelings, our beliefs, our behaviors in the eyes, understand them, and then decide which parts of us we are carrying forward into our future and which parts of us we are going to learn to release. This is the kind of conversation that I got really excited about. It wasn't just about macros and tracking food and whether the, stationary bike or the treadmill was going to be a better choice for them. All of that is important and plays a role, but it is not enough. Okay. And so if you are at this point in your journey and you think that it is just going to be about choosing the right exercise, choosing the right food, and following through on that, you need to realize that you are far more complex. There is so much more depth to you. And your experience in whether you are going to be able to follow through and enjoy the process of creating new daily habits for yourself and making informed choices and taking good care of yourself is going to be something that feels really fulfilling and meaningful and enjoyable, is going to be based on whether you have made those choices from a place of clarity and alignment and consciousness and awareness. Too often, people just look to trainers or coaches or programs or things that they've bought online to tell them what to do. And they just dive headfirst into something thinking if I just follow through, if A plus B equals C, I will get the outcome that I want. And that may be true. But we cannot bypass self-awareness and self-development if we are ever going to get to the place that we embody the type of person and live the type of life that we crave, that we desire, that we long for. Okay? Your experience matters. Our society tells us that we have to look a certain way or get to a certain place before we can share our voice, or that we need a certain qualification or certain experiences before we can really share our own experiences as something that might be of value to somebody else, right? But we all have this internal knowing. We all have something valuable to share. You don't have to wait to lose weight, to look a certain way, to achieve a certain thing before you can decide that you are going to be fully expressed, that you are going to claim your personal power, that you are going to tap in to the knowledge at the base of your being and decide to excavate your soul's purpose and make your life an exploration of that. You don't have to wait. You don't have to wait. And if you're sitting here and you're thinking, Lena, I have no idea what you're talking about. When you talk about soul's purpose, when you talk about being fully expressed, it goes right over my head. All I know is I have bills to pay and I need to find a way to pay it. But friend, let me tell you, your soul's purpose it's always available to you. And at the end of the day, it's just your soul's purpose. If you choose to live this life without exploring what that might be, that's fine. And you will get through life. But let me tell you, it's so much more fun and so much more juicy and so much more exciting when you allow yourself to live in the belief that you are here as the uniquely made, absolutely necessary, unrepeatable miracle that you are, and you were here on this earth for a reason. Now, I want to offer to you that you could just consider that everything that you have experienced, all that you are, is part of the universe trying to allow you to see just how necessary you are and what your soul's purpose actually is. So you can start just by considering, well, what are some of the obstacles that I've overcome? What are my own unique experiences? What is my unique story? What are the different phases in my life that I've been through? Can you name them if I ask you to describe them? It's really important that you start looking at yourself and your life as the unfolding of something really great, something magical, something meaningful, something that is so necessary in this world. To begin to look at yourself as this being that is going to offer up something that somebody, maybe many people in the world needs. It could be just the children you raise or the friends that you have. It could be the community around you, or it could be on a much larger scale. Who knows? But I know that you are necessary. I know that we are all necessary. I know that you are so much more than just a woman who needs to lose weight. That's what I knew about every single person that sat in front of me. They had so much more of a story to share. They had so many more desires for themselves. They had so much more potential and possibility within them than just the 5 kilos or the 10 kilos or the 20 kilos that they wanted to talk about losing. And I wanted to support them in losing that weight, but I also didn't want them to lose sight of the fact that there was so much more to them than the woman that needed to lose weight. You are so much more than just a being that needs to lose weight. And sometimes, if you have had that weight loss goal as the priority, as the focus, as the thing that you want to achieve for so long, you forget that. Often, you just start relating to yourself as the woman that needs to lose weight. That's all you see yourself as. No matter what you experience, achieve, create, and cause, you define yourself by how much you weigh on the scales. And if that is you today, I want you to put a hand on your heart, hand on your belly, the base of your being, or any part of your body that you feel compelled to just touch right now. And just take a moment to offer yourself just love, acknowledgement, a remembering that you definitely are more than just a woman that needs to lose weight. Your great achievement in this life will not be losing and maintaining your weight. That is not the greatest thing you will ever achieve. It may be a necessary part in your journey, but you are so much more than that. And I never, ever, ever want you to forget that. I never want you to get caught up in thinking that the success of who you are, the meaning in your life, the potential and possibility that is within you is tied to your weight, because it is not. So let's release that idea or suspend it. You are so much more than who you think you are. And if you've worked with me, you know that I say this to you again and again. I remind you of this again and again. And it's my hope that you will remember this again and again. In Vedic belief, and when I say Vedic, I do mean ancient India. Vedas are where yoga, Ayurveda, many forms of meditation, including this concept, originate from. We are not our mind or our body. We are souls having a human experience. I truly believe that. I truly know that. You are here to remember your Dharma. Your Dharma is your soul's purpose. And there is no Dharma too big or small. You might impact the whole world or just the people around you, right? It could be really visible or not. It could have a big energy to it or be really humble. Sometimes we think if we're not Martin Luther King, then we don't have a purpose. But your soul's purpose could be found in the way that you raise your children. But don't get it twisted. Your soul's purpose is not a career. It's not about finding the right job, finding the right outlet. Your career may or may not be part of your Dharma. It's your own personal mission statement. What are you here to create and cause in the world? Your job might give you an opportunity to express that, to share that, but your job is not your Dharma. Your job is just a way for you to share your Dharma. I hope that makes sense. Your soul's purpose can best be reflected as like a personal mission statement. I'm here to bring beauty to the world. I'm here to support people in spending time in nature. I'm here to equip children with literacy skills. I'm here to be of service to animals. It can be really open or really specific, and it can change through the course of our life for sure. And then underneath that mission statement that we have for ourselves are the services, all the ways that our Dharma can manifest. Career, job, is just a Western interpretation of how we can demonstrate our gifts, but it's certainly not the only way. Your soul's purpose ultimately is how you contribute to society. It feels good because the universe designed it to be. Because if it feels hard, like a struggle, like a push, if it feels like shit, you're not going to do it. Your Dharma is supposed to feel good. You know when you are living out your soul's purpose because you don't have to seek or search for motivation constantly. You just feel compelled, lit up, inspired. And ultimately, it's not even about you. It's about how you can be of service to humanity. And see, we're not spending our time thinking about this. We're in a society, in a collective consciousness that would rather think about how can I lose the most weight in the shortest amount of time, right? When you think about yourself and all that you hope to achieve, discover, excavate within yourself, how much time have you allowed yourself to really feel into just how unique and necessary and magic and needed you are, and to really explore your soul's purpose? And how much time have you committed to being in comparison, judgment, criticism, and thinking about the way that you can lose weight? I'm not shaming you for your weight loss goals. I'm just trying to offer you a wider perspective, a shake up of where we focus our time, energy, attention. So I've been working very closely with Sahara Rose, my own Dharma coach. I'm currently being accredited by the Dharma Coaching Institute. And one of the things that Sahara was talking about was a unique model that she has created called the Dharma Journey Spiral. So I'll give you a little bit of background on that. She has said, through interviewing, studying, and coaching thousands of people on living their Dharma, their soul's purpose, I found a pattern. It isn't a linear process, but rather a spiral. We continue on the journey as we evolve and move up and down the spiral as we deepen into our truth. I created the Dharma Journey Spiral to outline the patterns I commonly see on someone's journey to Dharma discovery. And this is what it looks like. So can you see the spiral goes all the way up? At the bottom of this image, you see the word unconsciousness. And there are so many words here that go up, 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 up until we have Dharma embodiment. The reason that it is a spiral is because it's not a linear process. It is not a checklist. Life is not a checklist, my friends. We might make progress in some area, feel like we are gaining, strides in some area, and then have an experience, a thought, a belief, a sensation that sends us back down. And we go up and we go down. As we age, as we experience life in new ways, as new circumstances unfold, it is likely that we go up and down this Dharma journey spiral again and again and again. Sahara has said that this is a spiral rather than a line. Your journey will cycle through the different stages. You may find yourself at one, then back at another. The Dharma journey spiral is never complete and continues to deepen throughout your life as different iterations of your Dharma unfold. Each person's journey will be different. This just serves as an overarching understanding. Break down each step to see it in yourself so you know what your progress will actually look like. Now, I got really excited when I saw this Dharma spiral. Let me show you the image of it again. I got so lit up because it reminded me of the truth of what it actually looks like and feels like to work towards weight loss goals. People expect it to be A plus B equals C. They want a linear journey, and weight loss does not work like that. Not on a physiological level, and definitely not on an emotional level. And so today, what I'm going to do, I have taken this unique Dharma journey spiral, and I am going to put it through the context, through the lens of weight loss for you. And it is my hope today that you can realize just what a journey weight loss is so that you can stop expecting it to be a one and done approach. My aim here today is to break down each of the steps in this spiral through the context of weight loss so that you have a clear understanding for yourself of what progress will actually look like, because it is not always seen and measured on the scale. But we need another way to be able to assess where we are in our journey so that we can celebrate when we are making progress, and also so that we can know how to support us to move through the next stage. The most important part and the most useful part of this spiral is to know and recognize that it goes up and down, and we will continue to cycle through different stages of the spiral as we continue to get to know ourselves in new contexts, circumstances, different iterations of ourselves. The same can be said in our approach to weight loss. What you do today is very unlikely to be what you are doing for your body in 10 years' time. And we need to be ready and available to continue to get to know ourselves in new ways and know how to best support ourselves throughout our lives. When we can take that approach, when we can trust ourselves to show up for ourselves, to support ourselves, not by judging ourselves, not by criticizing ourselves, but by having the awareness to witness where we are in our own journey and to know how to step in and offer ourselves the support that we need, then we will continue to be supported. And we won't constantly feel like we are starting again. We will know what the next step to take is. That is my hope for you. So we're going to go through each of these stages of the spiral, starting from the bottom, working our way up to the top. So I want you to listen in for yourself, and I want you to kind of, I guess, take a personal inventory and see where you would place yourself currently on this spiral when it comes to your own approach to weight loss. So we begin with unconsciousness, not knowing you even have a choice about the way you relate to yourself. So there are some people that just think that's just the way my body is. My mum's body was like this. This is the way that I'm going to be. They don't even know that they can actually step up for themselves in their lives and make informed choices that would make a difference when it comes to their own weight loss or their fitness outcomes. They're just completely unconscious. Then there's apathy. People that have heard about self-love, feeling better about themselves, having some sort of gratitude for themselves, but they don't think that applies to them. They think, yeah, I know there are people that can feel really good about themselves, but I'm just not that person. That's just not for me. The next stage we have is questioning. They start thinking, would it be possible for me to not feel this way? Would it be possible for me to actually make different choices? Could I even do that? They're just in questioning. They're not putting anything into action yet. They're just questioning. And that questioning demonstrates a willingness to change, but they're stuck in doubt when they are questioning. The next stage actually is doubt. When we start to ask more concise questions like, is this even possible for me? And usually the answer is no. For people that are stuck in doubt, they come up with all the excuses, the reasons, the justifications for why things can't happen. The next stage is curiosity. When we move beyond doubt, we start to get a little more curious. We suspend our doubt just for a moment and have a closer look at what other people are doing, right? We might get curious about, oh, what's that celebrity doing? We might read a magazine article or read something on Facebook. We just start paying attention whenever we see any information about health and fitness or weight loss. The next stage would be we actively start seeking that information. We don't just let it pop up by chance. We start putting things into Google search. We start looking into different ways to lose weight, to exercise, to look after ourselves. We're in the research phase. But then the next phase after research is a shame phase. We feel shameful about who we are. We feel unworthy of the time, energy, and money that it might take to invest in generating the change that we want. So we get curious and then we research and we find, oh, there could be a way forward for me, but then we shame ourselves. Maybe because we've tried and failed in the past, maybe just because of the way that we speak to ourselves, maybe because of the things that have been told to us or we have witnessed. After that, after shame, if we can get beyond our own self talk, right? Shame is usually internal dialogue or excuses or justifications for why we can't make change. The next stage is actually guilt. And we feel guilty that pouring time, energy, money into ourselves would actually take away from the obligations, the duty, the loyalty we have to our families. We often see this in caregivers that they feel like, I can't go to the gym because that means I would have to get somebody to look after the kids. And what if the kids didn't want me to go to the gym? They're too attached to me. And I can't, eat differently from my family. I don't want to spend money on extra food all the time, on prepping. Like, we make all of these reasons external of us for why we can't actually make the change. We make it almost somebody else's fault that we can't change. I want to, but I can't because of them. We create guilt. Then comes not enoughness. Feeling like you might not be XYZ enough to make change. I'm not fit enough. I'm not young enough. I'm not confident enough. I'm not secure enough. I don't have the financial stability. Whatever it is, it's the not enoughness. Then the next stage after that is triggers. When we actually are taking some action, we'll get triggered. Triggers arise as mirrors, showing you your blind spots for healing. So you might, start to exercise or move a little more or make better choices. And you see some images on Instagram of like these fitness influencer chicks in their crop tops, and they're just looking like it's so easy for them and they're just looking so good. And you just feel like shit about yourself because you compare yourself to them, right? It triggers you. It triggers you. And maybe there is something in that shame, in that guilt, in that anger, in that whatever it is that you are feeling, right? That allows you to see parts of you that need some healing. What is it that annoys you about what you are seeing? What is it that puts you off? What is that is, making you uncomfortable? Usually what triggers us in other people is, giving us the shining a light on exactly what we need to work on within ourselves. Okay. So after we get beyond being triggered by other people, being annoyed by what they're doing or what they're saying or what they're believing, we go through a process of deconditioning. And that's letting go of all the conditioning that has been withholding you from creating change. So this is all the beliefs, all the stories, all the rules you have had around who you have to be or what you have to do or how you have to relate to yourself. And then we move to understanding that everything about you is for a reason, to make sense of your life story. And that's where we start to become a little bit more compassionate about ourselves, or maybe we start to forgive parts of our story or the parts of our story that have been really challenging. Maybe we've not been kind to our bodies. Maybe we've spoken to ourselves in ways that have been really destructive. But we begin to understand that everything that we have been through has actually made us exactly who we have needed to be today. And we begin to integrate our story as part of who we are rather than using it as a limitation for, what is holding us back or as a source of suffering. We begin to understand everything that we have been through and how we can use it as a source of maybe inspiration. From there, we move to remediation, finding peace and clarity with anything that has been withholding you from experiencing self-love. This is where we begin to create potentially new affirmations for ourselves. We make the rules that now apply for us. We create those new empowered beliefs. From there, though, we get to a point of confusion. When we begin to experience change and we actually do see ourselves in a new light, it can be really confronting. It can be really confusing because we think, well, who am I now? Can I really be this new person? And if I'm not quite fully integrated and embodied as this new person, but I'm no longer who I used to be, what does that mean for me now? And what is the best way forward? And if I'm no longer this person held back by my body image, then who am I and what could I actually do? And all of these possibilities become available to us. And rather than feeling it's inspiring and exciting, it gets really confusing. And so we get overwhelmed. We get overwhelmed with all the potentials and where to start. It's like we're at the foot of a mountain. I'm no longer self sabotaging. I'm no longer doing all the destructive thinking and feeling and behaving. And now I don't know what to do with this newfound sense of self. And this is usually where we need a coach to come in and support us and guide us in bringing some courage and clarity to the aligned action that we need to take. And the next point is exactly that, courage. Finding the courage to take action towards being fully expressed. This is step by step. This is okay. I'm no longer the person that is like hidden and repressed and denied, but I don't know like what it even means for me to be fully expressed. So this is where we get to explore what is unique about you and how could you let more of your personality be infused in all that you do, and exploring that. Once we do that, again, we're going to experience some resistance because there are going to be parts of us that we can feel that we want to express, but there are still some parts of us that feel tender or hesitate or resist that. And we can heal those parts of ourselves. We embark on a healing journey to create that new future. So these might be things that you might set new goals for yourself, but you have some sort of like scarcity around certain things or some really unhelpful thought patterns that we need to release. It's all these deeper, unhealed aspects of who we are. And they come out as we take action. We sometimes don't realize the stories that we have around certain things until we go to do something and we're like, oh, this is making me feel really uncomfortable, or I feel really held back in this area, or I feel really emotional about this. I didn't realize I would be so emotional about this. Okay. And so we get to do some healing work, the deep, deep, deep work within us where we can see the parts of us that need tending to. Once we do that, we get to this place of optimism and hopefulness. And we actually start to see, like, oh my God, I am changing. This isn't a quick fix. I'm actually working on all of the things within me and I'm generating change outside of me. And I actually feel like I am being fully expressed. And this isn't just a quick diet, this is who I am becoming. We feel optimistic about long term change and what is possible. Okay. And from there, we might be confident enough to set some bigger goals for ourselves, some more specific goals to stretch the boundaries of our comfort zone. And we go through a process of trial and error, learning about ourselves through various processes. And from that point, when we gain a little bit of confidence, we might find that we go through some spirals again, right? We push the boundaries, we push the limits, and we're like, oh God, I'm back in doubt again. Oh God, right? It might be even further than that. But that's a very natural part of what happens. Remember, it's not linear. We don't just go from strength to strength to strength. This spiral demonstrates the way that we go up and down within the way that we are processing what is happening to us and how we relate to what is happening to us. If we can push through trial and error, we actually get to a place and a space that we have trust, complete trust in our body and listening to our soul's guidance. And that's a really beautiful place to be in. That's where failure doesn't exist anymore. That's where we know, we believe, we trust that everything is happening for a reason. And from there, we step into deeper inner work and we get to balance parts of us. We're no longer healing, we're working, we're shifting, we're moving, we're consciously cultivating the experience that we want within us and outside of us. So that might look like learning to balance various aspects of your energy. I talk about doshas and balancing feminine and masculine energy, working on our archetypes. That's getting to know yourself on a soul level, right? But in order for us to access that part of ourselves, we first must be really comfortable with our physical body and have a great relationship with what we think and how we feel and the way that we interpret the sensations within our body. Once we move through balance, we get to mastery. That's our energetic mastery, that's sovereignty, that's knowing how to navigate your energy. That's a really powerful place to be. And from there, we get to true expression, finding your authentic voice and sharing it with others with confidence and clarity. And from there, We refine our unique soul expression and how you are meant to share it with the world. Can you see how many steps it takes, how many stages we need to go through until we actually get to a place that we can be fully expressed and really refining who we are? But yet we hold ourselves back by thinking, oh my gosh, I should know who I am. I should have clarity around what my values are, what my beliefs are, what my message is, what my purpose is. We think we should know that before we get started. We think that's what should motivate us. That's not how it works. We have to go through all these stages of generating change before we are in a place and a space within ourselves and within our lives that we are actually ready to do that. After we have refined that, then we make our life an expression of being in alignment. You will just find yourself in divine alignment with your purpose. And in this case, you will just find yourself being the person that does the things that they need to do to manage their weight, to take care of their body, because that is what you have to do. You're not a person that looks for motivation or constant sources of inspiration. There is no starting and stopping. You know what foods you like, you know the way you need to move, you know how your body responds to certain things, you know what your body needs. You are just in alignment with what it means to feel good, to be well, to be confident within your skin, and to love yourself unconditionally. And from there, we embody a full embodiment, fully integrated and embodied as the truest expression of who we are. That's where the soul shines through. Our spirit speaks. We know that we are no longer judged by what we look like. Our physical body just becomes the vehicle for everything that we are here to experience and to express. And we no longer hold ourselves back or judge ourselves based on a number we see on the scales. That becomes irrelevant. We're embodied by everything that we believe to be true about who we are and what we're here to create and cause. It's a journey, my friends, and it's where I think ultimately we all want to be. So here's another visual that can just show you how we move up through the different stages in this journey. And as we move up towards embodiment, it should feel more expansive. There should be more space. There should be more freedom, more creativity, all of the good stuff. And as we come down towards unconsciousness, it feels more contraction. It feels hidden. It feels repressed. It feels denied. It feels insular. Okay, that's the difference. That's how you kind of know where you're at within your journey. How it feels to speak about yourself, to look at yourself, to share yourself, to be with yourself. So, I'm wondering, would it be useful for you to consider where you are right now in your journey when it comes to your approach to weight loss or the way that you relate to your body? What word, what stage resonates with you? Where are you at? And when we do that, what you will be able to think about is, what would I have to do in order to move me towards the next stage? Or what do I need to actually do within this stage to complete this stage? What is the support I actually need right now? In what ways can I meet my own needs as they present themselves today? Beyond counting macros or counting steps, what is it that I need? I need. Where am I at? And lately, have I been spiraling up or down? And why is that? It's just about being open and witnessing ourselves and having self-awareness in a way that we can actually offer ourselves some sort of support, that we're not just looking at what we are thinking and feeling and doing and feeling like we are just kind of like observers. At some point, we have to step in and help ourselves. Witnessing where we are with a visual like this, with language like this, I believe really helps us. It helps us in understanding the length of this journey and the complexity of this journey, so that you know it's not A plus B equals C. There's a lot to this. There is levels to this. There is layers to this. and to just be really honest about where you are on your own journey. And it shouldn't feel like you have a long way to go, remember, because there's no end point. We never actually get to the end. We just need to be in constant communication with ourselves. Where am I at this point in the journey, and what do I need? And what do I need? And what do I need? And how can I best support myself? That is ultimately the self-love. That is ultimately how we get the results that we want, meeting our own needs, right? Not expecting too much from ourselves, allowing ourselves to receive exactly what we need at this stage of our journey. I'm going to invite you, please, to stay connected with me and to let me know what you have heard in this for yourself. You can find me on Instagram at Lena_Moxon. There's a few ways that we can continue to work together. I have the 27-day mindset reset that is really going to help you uncover many different aspects of yourself. We're going to look at all the different parts of you that need to be tended to through a journey of exploration. It's a really exciting program that allows you to just be in conversation with yourself again and again through different modalities, through different sources of inspiration, through different things that are going to allow you to see yourself from a wider perspective, from new ways, with a sense of openness and allowing and curiosity, and to make decisions about what would best support you in your life at this stage moving forward. Because sometimes we've decided who we are and what we need a long time ago, but who we truly are in the moment that we are in, and what we actually desire and what we actually need and what we're actually craving is something very different. And so to reconnect with ourselves, to explore the truth of who we truly are, not who we have told the world that we are, or not what the world has told us that we are, can be a really empowering and insightful experience. That's what the 27-day mindset reset is all about. Then, of course, there's the weight loss mindset transformation program, my free Facebook group, which I encourage you to jump into because I just drop resources in there as I kind of like download them and create them. I test them within my free Facebook group, and I have lots of interesting conversations with the women in that group about what I'm experiencing, what I'm creating, the things that they need. It's a beautiful space to feel like you are constantly supported. And finally, by making sure that you have subscribed to the Mindset Makeovers podcast. The link to that is actually on my Instagram page as well. And that's going to keep me in your ear, having these extended conversations with you again and again. I cannot wait to hear what you have heard from this for yourself today.